comfortable seated position, please. My name is Laura. Happy Sunday. Happy Motown Sunday. Comfortable seated position, please. Close your eyes. Sit up tall. Rest your hands on your legs or in your lap, somewhere that's comfortable. But let your elbows rest back underneath your shoulders instead of outstretching your arms so that you can soften your shoulders. Relax the muscles of your face. Begin to deepen your breath. Long, slow inhales. Long, slow exhales. And give yourself permission to show your room onto your mat and into your body. So you can be aware of your physical body. You can be aware of the emotions that are coming naturally to you this morning. And you can be aware of the flow of energy in your body. But for a moment, I want you to think about who is the witness? What is the being who is watching these processes? What is the self that is witnessing these changes in your physical body or in your emotional body or in your energetic body? So what lies deeper than all of that? What is really true for you right now? Bring your hands to prayer at your chest. Bow your mind to your heart. If you'd like to set an intention for your practice, you can do that now. Okay, lift your chin from your chest. Open your eyes and release your hands away from your heart. Here is the playlist in the chat. I don't have it on Zoom. I guess I was putting the wrong link. So if you see the YouTube one, I don't know why I did that wrong. Maybe that's what I thought I was forgetting before we started. You can push play on the playlist here when you're ready. It's the newest one in the chat if you don't have it. Crazy me. So after you push play on the playlist, we are going to meet back, if you aren't there already, in a comfortable seated position around the middle of your mat. So once you're in a seat, somewhere where you can sit up tall, so that could be cross-legged or kneeling or sitting up on something, go ahead and cactus bend your arms like goalposts and cross your right upper arm on top of your left upper arm. First pose, early pose, warm-up pose, no expectations. You could draw the backs of your hands more toward each other or wrap your palms so that they touch, so that was my palms wrapping around again. It's okay if the backs of your hands don't come close to each other, but I'd like you to try to cross just as best you can above the elbows. From there, lift your upper arms more away from your chest. Even if your hands come apart a little bit more, I'm fine with that. And draw your shoulder blades more down your back. So I'm demoing the modification now. You could have your hands closer than me. So these are the two actions I'm working on for the next couple of breaths. Lift your elbows up and draw your shoulder blades down. One more variation, keeping the same arm variation that you have. Hug your upper arms down to your chest and drop your chin to your chest. So I'm going to turn to the side to show you. It's a round of the upper back. Spread your shoulder blades apart from each other. Drop your chin toward your chest. You release and unravel your arms, shoulder rolls one direction and the other. Other side, cactus, bend your arms, cross your left arm on top of your right. Your hands might wrap to touch. You might press the backs of your hands together, or you might have your hands farther apart. It doesn't matter what you look like, only matters what you feel like. So first action is lift your elbows up away from your chest and draw your shoulder blades down your back. So sometimes when the elbows go up, the shoulders will go up. So we're working those opposing actions, elbows up, shoulder blades down. Think about it as continuous movement. The elbows don't stop moving up and the shoulder blades don't stop moving down. Keep the arms as they are. Hug your upper arms down toward your chest. Round your upper back and drop your chin to your chest. So we're making sort of like a C and a round with the spine. As you hug tight in and spread your shoulder blades open away from each other. You lift and unravel, shoulder rolls one direction and another. Some neck rolls. You can do half circles, just ear to shoulder and then switch directions. If you prefer full circles, go for it. Not a big fan of full circles for myself. Then if you're sitting cross-legged, well, everybody plant your feet on the floor in front of you so that your knees are bent. On the ground, if you were sitting on a prop, you'll come off of it with your feet planted on the floor. Separate your feet a little bit wider than your hips and let both of your knees fall toward the floor on the left side of you. So your knees fall over toward the floor on the left. More out and away from you. We'll be able to move this left hand where we want it when we're in the pose, so I'm not going to tell you exactly like angles or inches. So you move your left hand just a little farther out away from your left hip. Reach your right arm alongside your right ear. So your right arm is reaching out and away from you, not straight back behind you, but more toward the corner. Push your right kneecap forward so that your right hip lifts more away from the floor. You make the back of your neck long, but the emphasis here is to reach more through your right fingers, away from your right knee. Push your right knee forward, away from your right fingers. So here is where you can see, well, if I wish my left hand was a lot farther away from me or a lot closer, you can move it. Take one more inhale. Exhale, release back up through center. Other side, take your knees up and over to the right. So feet are still wide, move your knees to the right. Move your right hand back behind you, a little farther away from you. Take your left arm, reach it alongside your left ear. And push your left knee forward. As you push your left knee forward, your left hip will lift away from the floor. Reach your left fingers farther away from your left knee. So those two directions of movement are creating more length in the entire front of your left side body, at least from your knee to your fingertips. Take one more huge breath in. Exhale, back up through center. One more time on each side. Knees to the left. Reach your right arm alongside your right ear. Breathe. Back up through center, right hand down, knees to the right, reach your left arm alongside your left ear. Back up through center and make your way into a child's pose, please. So you're on hands and knees, close your big toes together so that they touch. Separate your knees wider than your hips. Sit your hips toward your heels. It's okay if they don't make contact. Rest your elbows down onto the floor and rest your head down onto the floor. If this feels too tight in your shoulders right now, widen your arms or bend your elbows out to the sides or both. And deepen your breath. Okay, lift yourself up to a tabletop of all fours. Place your knees directly underneath your hips and extend your toes straight back from your knees. Place your wrists underneath your shoulders. So the measurement with the shoulders are like index fingers in line with the middles of the shoulders. So don't feel confined by the width or narrowness of your mat. When I place my hands, my pinky fingers and my ring fingers are off the edges of my mat. If I were confined to the width of my mat, my hands would be too narrow. Spread your fingers wide. Take an inhale, look up, drop your belly down, and fill your lungs. Exhale, round your back. Press your spine to the sky, tuck your chin to your chest. Inhale, drop your belly, expand across the front of your heart. Exhale, round your back, tuck your chin, tuck your tail, and empty your lungs. Keep moving, keep breathing. Inhales, look up, drop your belly. Exhales, round the back. If you want to move in other ways, you can try to stretch your side bodies, your QL, your low back. You could shift back into those stretches or shift forward more into the upper back like we felt in our first equal variations. Downward dog, tuck your toes, stretch your hips up and back. We'll do a modified down dog for the first one. So keep your hips lifted, bend your knees profoundly, and spike your heels up into the air. Spike your heels up high, keep them lifted. Bend your knees more than they are right now, and stretch your hips more up and back. You'll feel more length in your spine. 2 breaths. Then set your knees back down onto the floor. You can untuck your toes, pick your right arm up, open the front of your body to the right side of your mat. Exhale, thread your right arm underneath your left arm and rest your head on the floor. Rest your right shoulder all the way down onto the floor. Hold the pose, move your left hip crease backwards in space. Another way to say that, or another way to feel that, is move your hips 1 more inch to your right. You can either leave your left hand on the floor where it is, or crawl your left fingers forward toward the front wall. Then the option, push into your left hand and turn open through your left chest. Press yourself back up to a tabletop, all fours. One more pose before the second side. Extend your right leg straight back behind you. Set the ball of your right foot down on the floor back there. Make your right leg straight, so lift the back of your right knee toward the ceiling. Press down and back with your right heel for a calf stretch. Press down and forward with your hands. Drop your chin more toward your chest, so you're looking more at the back of your mat than under your face. And now, instead of letting your low belly go down and your tailbone go up like I'm showing, hug your low belly up to the front of your spine and point your tailbone at your right heel. Some people like to push a lot so that the left kneecap lifts. That's optional. It heats the core a little bit more. It might take you into a deeper calf stretch. Release, set your right knee down on the floor next to your left. Pick your left arm up. Open the front of your body to the left side. Exhale, thread your left arm underneath your right arm. Rest your head all the way down onto the floor. Your right hip crease backwards in space and move both of your hips another inch to your left. If you did on the other side, you could crawl your right fingers out toward the top of your mat and push into your right hand to turn open through your right chest. How does your breath move in this pose? Lift yourself back up to a tabletop, all fours. Extend your left leg straight back behind you and set the ball of your left foot down on the floor back there. Press your left heel down and back. Press both of your hands down and forward. We'll create almost like a cat pose in the spine to protect your low back and also to make sure you're not crunching your neck. There's no use in looking forward for this. Release, set your left knee down on the floor next to your right. Take an inhale, look up, drop your belly, tuck your toes. Downward dog. Exhale, stretch your hips up and back. This time bend your right knee a lot, press your left. Bend your left knee a lot, press your right heel a little bit more down to the floor. Then press equally back through your thigh bones. Your hands back to meet. About 3 breaths. If you like an arm variation, you can grab a hold of opposite elbows or upper arms. Then release your arms so that they drape back down to the floor. Bend your knees more. Drop your head and roll slowly to standing. Chin is the last to lift. Once you lift upright, press your heels down to straighten your legs. Inhale, stretch your arms up. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, forward fold. Lead with your heart. Make your legs really strong. Inhale, halfway lift. Lengthen your spine. Lengthen the sides of your body. Downward dog, exhale. Step your right foot forward between your hands. Help your foot forward if it doesn't make it. We need the right foot to be flat. Set your left knee down into the ground, untuck your left toes. Hold here with your hands on the floor, move your hips down and forward. If you like to stay here, you can hold your hands on the floor the whole time, or interlace your hands on top of your right thigh, or reach your arms up alongside your ears. So when we extend from the left kneecap out through the fingertips, like we've already done before when we were seated, you'll feel more through the whole front of your body. Just a couple breaths here as you bend your right knee straight forward. Relax the muscles of your face, your eyebrows, your jaw, your throat. Your back toes, lift your back, your right leg. So I'll encourage you to stay on the ball of your back foot. Move your right hip back in space and move both of your hips an inch to your left. Familiar cues, right? Your right leg doesn't have to bend your right knee as much as you need to. And I'd like your hands to touch either the floor or props. Downward dog. Plant your hands, step your right foot back next to your left. Inhale, plank pose, wave through your spine, tone your belly, lift your chin away from your chest. Exhale, lower slowly and rest all the way down on your belly. Untuck your toes, inhale, cobra. Lift your heart, take a huge breath in. Downward dog, exhale. Step your left foot forward between your hands. Set your right knee down onto the ground. Take your time. Make sure your left foot made it all the way forward. You can either keep your hands on the floor as they frame your left foot on top of the left thigh, or stretch your arms alongside your ears, whichever you prefer. So for another time in this class, we're feeling a stretch in the front of the right hip. You can modify that by keeping the hands on the floor, or you can intensify that by reaching your arms up to the ceiling. Breathe into the front of your body and find out what can you soften, what can you relax that doesn't need to be working in your face or in your jaw or in your throat. One more huge breath in. Exhale, place your hands on the floor. If they aren't, they're all ready. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee, and start to straighten your right leg. Your left leg. Move your left hip crease backwards in space and swing both of your hips another inch to your right. For this round, I'm encouraging you to stay on the ball of your back foot so that the back heel is spiked up. Downward dog, plant your hands, step your left foot back next to your right. Inhale, plank pose, spike your heels up, make your legs straight, tone your belly, pull your heart forward. Exhale, lower all the way to your belly. Untuck your toes, inhale, cobra, lift your heart. Downward dog, exhale. So all together, take a huge breath in. Open mouth, exhale. Inhale, bend your knees and look forward. Exhale, take your feet forward to the top of your mat. You can step or hop, feet all the way forward. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen. Exhale, fold deeply. Inhale, rise to standing. Reach your arms all the way up. Exhale, bring your hands to prayer at your chest. Inhale, stretch your arms out and high. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen through your spine. Exhale, chaturanga, that's mid-plank. Put your hands down. In one exhalation, step your feet back and lower halfway or all the way. Inhale, cobra or up dog, your choice. Lift your heart. Downward dog, exhale. Hold in down dog and breathe, right. Spread your fingers wide and make your hands really strong. Now bend your elbows a little bit. I know it's not easy, we won't do it for long. Bend your elbows a little bit. If you feel that your elbows are bending out to the sides like bulldog arms, without changing your hands, rotate so that your biceps face more forward and your triceps face more back. So it's without changing your hands, you want your elbows to bend back instead of out to the sides. So now you can straighten your arms as much as possible and push the floor away from you. Okay, inhale, bend your knees, look forward. Exhale, feet forward, step, walk, or jump to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift when you get there, lengthen. Exhale, forward fold deeply. Inhale, rise to standing. Reach your arms out and up. Take a huge breath in. Exhale, bring your hands to prayer at your chest and empty your lungs. Inhale, stretch your arms out and up. Deep breath in. Exhale, forward fold. Lead with your heart. Press your inner thighs more back. Inhale, halfway lift. Lengthen all four sides of your torso. Exhale, chaturanga dandasana. Step or jump your feet back. Lower slowly. Bend your elbows straight back again. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Push the floor away from you. Lift your ears up off of your shoulders. Downward dog. Go for it when you're ready. Lift your hips up and back. So what we worked on in the previous down dog is called external rotation in the arms. If your elbows bend, they bend straight back instead of out to the sides. That can help you find broadness in your upper back as you separate your shoulder blades open apart from each other. Inhale, lift your right leg up and back behind you. Exhale, step your right foot between your hands. Crescent lunge. Inhale, rise to standing. Exhale, cactus, bend your arms. Eagle arms right on top. Cross your right upper arm on top of your left upper arm. Take an inhale. Lift your bind and lift your eye gaze. It's okay to be wobbly. Exhale, curl your upper arms down to your chest. Inhale, lift to neutral, like you want your upper arms to be parallel to the floor. Hold here and tone your belly. Step your left foot next to your right. Keep your arms bound. Sit your hips low like chair pose. Feet together. Bend both of your knees. Then shift your weight to your right foot and pick your left leg up. Cross it on top of your right. So we're doing eagle legs along with our eagle arms. You could place your left toes on the floor like a kickstand, or pick your left toes up, or curl your left toes behind your right calf. Falling does not mean failing, as I always say. The point of it is not to be good at it. Keep your eagle arms. Warrior 3. Unwrap your left leg and extend it straight back behind you. Close your left hip toward the floor. Pull the front of your heart forward like it's going to move through your shoulders toward the front wall. Standing splits, release your hands toward the floor. If the floor feels far away, you can use blocks or bend your right knee. Make your left leg as straight as you can get it and lift the back of your left thigh bone up. Take one more inhale here. Exhale, land your left foot at the back of your mat. Inhale, plank pose, tone your belly. Exhale, either chaturanga or down dog. Inhale, up dog or cobra, lift your heart. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, lift your left leg. Exhale, step your left foot between your two hands. Stay on the ball of your back foot. Inhale, crescent lunge. Rise to standing. How wobbly am I today? Exhale, cactus, bend your arms. Eagle arms, press your left arm on top of your right. Same as the beginning of class, your hands do not have to be able to touch. Take an inhale, lift your bind. Lift your eye gaze, arc through your upper back. Exhale, curl in, round your upper back, and tuck your chin to your chest. Then inhale, lift your arms to neutral. Keep breathing. Tone your belly. Step your right foot next to your left, feet together, sit low like chair pose, keep your eagle arms. Shift your weight to your left foot, eagle pose, cross your right leg on top of your left. You might use your right toes on the floor like a kickstand, or pick your right foot up, or curl your right toes behind your left calf if you never feel any knee pain. Keep your eagle arms, warrior three. Push both legs as straight as you can get them. Close your right hip more down to the floor. Standing splits, unravel your arms, your hands will find the floor. Doesn't matter how high your right leg lifts. Instead of letting your right hip open away on top of your left, let the front of your pelvis face the ground. Then lift the back of your right thigh bone up to the ceiling. Take an inhale. Exhale, land your right foot at the back of your mat. Inhale, plank pose. Either take a vinyasa or meet back in downward dog. Move slowly with your breath. And meet me in downward dog. Good work with that one, y'all. Inhale, lift your right leg up and back behind you. Exhale, step your right foot forward between your hands. Hold here. Place your left hand down firmly. Reach your right arm up to the ceiling. Either hold here, so if you have some tightness in the outside of your hips, you might feel a hip stretch in this twist. That's great. That's a really great benefit. If you don't feel anything in the outside of your right hip, turn your right foot so that your right foot is parallel to the top edge of your mat, and set the whole razor edge of your arm. Your right arm is still reaching up to the ceiling. Lift your hips. Make your left leg extremely straight. Then reach your right arm alongside your right ear. Lift your ribs up, lift your hips up. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, release your right hand to the floor if it isn't, and turn all 10 toes so they point to the top of your mat. Wide-legged fold. Turn to your left. So you're making a symmetrical pose. Pigeon toe a little bit, turn your toes in and your heels out. Slow down your breathing. Press strongly back through both of your thigh bones and tip your pelvis forward, like you would want to spill the contents of your pelvis forward over your pubic bone. That's a weird cue, I know. Inhale, halfway lift, like you want your back to be parallel to the floor. Exhale, place your hands on your hips and stand all the way up. Keep your left foot angled a little bit so the left foot is pigeon-toed, and turn your right toes straight at the front of your mat. Bend your right knee and extend your arms. Bend your right knee straight forward. Allow the front of your pelvis to close slightly toward the front of your mat, but turn your rib cage open to the left and turn your left chest open away from the front of your mat. Inhale, reverse warrior. Make your right side body long. Exhale, chaturanga or down dog. Beautiful. Inhale, when you're ready, lift your left leg. Exhale, step your left foot between your hands. Let your right hand down, reach your left arm up. So first is the twist. We introduce it with all 10 toes pointing straight forward. If you don't feel enough of an outer hip stretch, pivot all 10 toes so they point to the left. That means you'll set the razor edge of your right foot down and turn your left foot so it's parallel to the top edge of your mat. I know this is kind of a confusing one if you haven't done it before with me, so I hope that the demo helps at the very least. Lift your hips. Then reach your left arm alongside your left ear. Lift your rib cage up. Take one more inhale. Exhale, release your left hand to the floor and turn all 10 toes so they point forward, if they weren't already. Wide-legged fold, turn to your right. Once you get where you're going in your symmetrical pose, turn your toes in and your heels out, so it's a slight pigeon toe here. Fold at the hips. You can leave your hands wherever you want, wherever they are on the floor. Or you could walk your hands back so your fingertips are in line with the tips of your toes. The heels of your hands don't have to be able to touch. We've got the hands shoulder width distance apart. From there, if you need to, you bend your elbows straight back and push the floor down and forward to fold you more in half. Breathe a lot and breathe slowly. Okay, inhale, halfway lift, lengthen. Exhale, place your hands on your hips and rise all the way to standing. Turn just your left foot so it points at the top of your mat. We still have the right foot pigeon-toed slightly. Warrior two, bend your left knee and extend your two arms. When you sit deeply into the bend in your left knee, we want the left knee to move straight forward. Allow the front of your pelvis to close slightly forward like it already wants to. But then turn your rib cage and your chest open to face the side. Inhale, reverse warrior. Reach up and back with your left arm. Exhale, chaturanga or down dog. Put your hands down, step back, and lower slowly. Inhale, lift your heart up, dog or cobra. Downward dog, exhale. Nice work. For pigeon, take your right shin forward across the top of your mat. If you prefer reclined pigeon, you can lie down on your back and do a figure four where you cross your right ankle on top of your left thigh. It's okay if your hips are kind of high up away from the floor like I'm demoing. Your hips don't have to go close to the floor. But when you lower forward, go ahead and lower down onto your forearms or put your arms onto blocks. You might find the space then to move your left kneecap more backwards on your mat. You can either hang out on your forearms and just let your head hang if that feels okay. Or you could rest your head down onto the floor or on your stacked fists or your stacked forearms. Soften your belly and your jaw and slow down your breathing. Downward dog. You can swing your leg around, you can lift up through a tabletop, you can sit over to the right, however you get to back to down dog is fine. And then when you're ready for the second side, take your left shin forward across the top of your mat. It's okay if your hips are high here, and it really is okay if they stay high. Your hips don't have to touch the ground. But when we start, we're lifted upright. So go ahead and lower forward. Give it a little bit more space in the front of the right side. So you might be able to move your right knee more backwards on your mat, which inherently takes the hips a little lower. Find some place for your head to rest comfortably. And breathe in a mindful way. Downward dog. Make your way to a comfortable seated position that could be cross-legged or kneeling. Close your eyes. Sit up tall. And pay attention to what is true for you right now. As you check in with your physical body. Your emotional body. The flow of energy within you, and the true observer of all of those things. Stay here in your body and just notice where your thoughts go. So even before we try to control the thoughts, there is power in observing the thoughts. Can you learn what is true for you right now? All together, take a deep breath in, fill your lungs all the way. Open mouth, exhale, sigh. And lie down on your back now. Make your way to lying down on your back. Hug your knees to your chest. Keep your right knee hugging in. You can interlace your fingers around the front of your right shin. Extend your left leg straight out to rest on the floor in front of you. Make your left leg as straight as you can get it. Flex your left foot and squeeze your right knee toward your belly. Keep your legs as they are. Extend your arms out to the sides in a T, palms face up. So your right knee is still moving toward the chest. Your arms are extended out from your shoulders. Extend your right leg straight up to the ceiling. Doesn't have to be straight. So instead of straight, sometimes what happens is in order to make the leg straight, we push the foot forward. So instead of straight leg at an angle, I'd rather see bent leg with the bottom of the foot facing the ceiling. So at the bottom of your foot facing the ceiling, push your right heel up any amount. Is your left leg still strong? Can you move your right toes more toward the wall behind you? Interlace your hands around the front of your right shin as you bend your right knee and hug your right knee to your belly. Other side, extend your right leg straight out on the floor in front of you. Interlace your hands around the front of your left shin. Flex your right foot and push your right heel straight forward. Nice tight squeeze as you hug your left knee in. Extend your arms out to the sides in a T with your palms facing up to the ceiling. Press your left leg any amount toward the ceiling, doesn't have to be straight. Flex your left foot. Push your left heel up. And maybe take your toes toward the wall behind you more. Release, hug your left knee to your chest, interlace your hands around the front of your left shin. Switch and release your hands around the front of your right shin, straight out on the floor in front of you. This time we'll twist. Take your right arm, just your right arm out to the right, and drag your right knee across your body toward the floor on the left side of you. Doesn't have to touch. 3 breaths. Lift your knee back up through center, other side. Hug your left knee into your belly. Extend your right leg straight. Reach your left arm out to the left and twist. Drop your left knee across to the right. Doesn't matter how far. If it feels okay in your neck, you can look over to your left. And inhale, lift your knees back up through center and just hug both knees to your chest. You could have your knees apart, grabbing onto knees. You could wrap your forearms around the fronts of your shins or grab onto your shins or have your knees together. Some people like to rock side to side or move the knees around in space. Happy baby, show the bottoms of your feet toward the ceiling. Reach to grab on either your ankles or your feet. You can grab on the outer edges of your feet. Instead of letting your hips curl up off the floor, press the back of your pelvis down so that your low back is long, even if you have to grab higher up on your legs. Release to Shavasana. Extend your legs so that they rest straight out on the floor in front of you. Release your arms so that they rest down alongside your body. If you need to fidget around, make yourself comfortable, take your time. There is a if it's not already there. It's called Ajna. You might be close to coming on, I don't know. When you're ready to settle in, do just that. Close your eyes and make yourself comfortable for this stillness that you deserve. Begin to deepen your breath. Movement in your hands and in your feet. Find movement in your arms and in your legs. Rock your head gently from side to side on the floor. And stretch your arms behind you on the floor. Take a long, full body stretch. Fetal pose either side. Bend your knees, roll over, and rest your head on your bottom arm. Press your weight into your top hand. Press up to a comfortable seat facing forward. Bring your hands to prayer at your chest and bow your mind to your heart. Thank you so much for practicing with me this morning. Again, my name is Laura. Namaste. Thanks, everybody. Thank you so much for practicing.